All right. What is going on, everybody? This is the Cloud9 podcast, season 4, episode 15. Mr. Sean will be joining in a little bit, and then we will have a thorough, long discussion about the 2022 League of Legends World Championship. North America definitely doing so bad right now. There is so much to talk about right now when we are talking about League of Legends competitively between the LCS, LEC, LPL, and LCK. We also have some really insane, spicy 2022 off-season news that I will be covering in a succession of news videos, actually. So that is going to actually happen for you guys. I'll be explaining all of that stuff, as the show goes on. But I want to make sure I tackle, all of the groups between, Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D. Then we are going to end up, previewing the 2022 League of Legends World Championship quarterfinal matches, which are going to begin tomorrow at 2 p.m. PST. So let's go over that stuff in just a minute. But I want to make sure that we have this ready. Okay, so we're going to end up talking about Group A first. There's actually a lot of off-season news, actually. So what's going to end up happening is I will actually, end up giving you guys a, lineup of news videos where I am going to be delivering all of the news to you. So on my main YouTube channel, I actually will end up, doing that because it's going to be the best way to, get all the news out to you guys in a timely fashion. So on my main YouTube channel, I actually do a segment on there called Entertainment News, which is a segment where I literally talk about 3 news topics in one video rather than just spamming you with 3 or 4 different, like, 8 to 10 minute videos. I can just do them all at once, actually. So with that being said, that's what I'm going to end up doing for you guys, because right now, when Worlds is going on, we also have to factor in other teams are gearing up to see what they are going to be doing for the 2023 season, whether you compete in a major region or you are or you are a minor region team. So right now, that is the reason why you are getting all of this off-season news. It's going to be really interesting for the LCS because we hear a lot is going to end up happening. There was also a big rumor that came out that the LCS broadcast days would also be switching, which would mean the Cloud9 podcast day would also switch as well. So yeah, there's so much stuff to talk about, in today's episode, but we are going to keep it kind of like short and sweet. I'm only going to be able to go for like an hour and 20 minutes per se, because I have another show that I'm going to be doing on my main YouTube channel. But I want to make sure I cover all of what I want to really cover, for you guys in today's episode of the Cloud9 podcast. So yeah, I will also be having a channel update video coming out very, very soon, explaining, what I really want to, do for you guys, actually, because in my channel update video, I will be explaining, why I changed the channel name, as well as, why I ended up, taking this route overall, and why I kind of moved away from the other branding that I ended up having, as well as, talking about, the other way I didn't like things were going, but I decided to just change them up, actually. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're gonna primarily only talk about Worlds 2022 main group stage because last week we literally had, NA start 0-4, only for NA to end up 3-15. So yeah, that really ended up just pretty much surprising a lot of people more. I don't know what was surprising. NA going, 0-18, or, NA going 3-15. I don't know which one was actually the worst record you could really have, but that's just me personally. So if you guys are watching, make sure you guys like the stream, Let me make sure I log into my second account right now. That way I could obviously have a pinned message. Let me make sure I do that. And then we're going to start talking about all of the group stages, my synopsis about them and my easy breakdown of them. Then we're going to be diving into a lot of the games as well. So just give me one moment. And yeah, there's been so much off-season news. Then there's also these best of 5 matches we're going to end up getting as well. So it's literally like we're just being blessed with, all of this league news right now. Some other bigger bombshells came out today about Yankos. I'll talk about that, later on as well. So let me make sure I go to the channel. I'm going to make sure I have this ready. Okay, let me make sure I type this message in the chat. Give me a second. Make sure to smash the like button. There you go. Yeah, always like the stream, whether you're watching on the replay or you are watching on, live as well. Liking the stream promotes the stream more in the YouTube algorithm, and then it obviously tells them you want more of this content, and we will be giving you more of this content as well. Next year, I will also, be experimenting more with doing the dual episodes of the Cloud9 podcast, doing one for North America, doing one for, the LEC. I will also attempt to put in a few more episodes, for the LCK. The LPL is really hard to do episodes for, given the fact that there's so many games that go on so fast. It's just ridiculous, actually, to really track all of those games in once. Now, I really only follow like a certain amount of teams, but I do happen to watch it pretty consistently. It's not like I don't watch the LPL. It's just more like, there's just so many games that end up happening. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, wow, that is a lot to talk about. And there's no way you're going to be able to talk about every single team. Most likely it would be just like talking about the teams that are the most popular and breaking down their matches against whoever they faced off against, that week. But that's other goal I want for myself moving forward is just to put in, more episodes to the show starting next year as well. We did start what I talked about just before this, which was, the dual episodes for, LCS and LEC. Want to make sure I put in at least maybe a few episodes for the LCK, because I did watch the LCK. Actually, I legitimately did watch the LCK. But it's just, it's so hard to put in episodes, at certain times, because the LCK also has a decent amount of matches, that go on, and, tracking every single team sometimes can be really tiring, because I've been watching, every single region, or every single major region since 2014. So at a certain point, you start to get a little blown out, but it is okay. Sorry, I'm signing back into my main, Gmail account right now, because I usually bounce back between the two, actually. So yeah, that is your little mini update for right now. I'll make sure I say this one more time for anyone who is watching the replay. That being, I'm going to be doing a channel update video first. That'll be detailing what I'm going to be doing with the channel moving forward, as well as what I will be doing regarding all of the current 2022 off-season news. And there is a lot of it, but I do plan on covering it all. And what I will be doing with all of the current 2022 off-season news, which is going to be, covering 3 topics at once. That way I just knock them out pretty consistently. So yeah, I want to make sure I also have this notepad here that where I'm going to be, explaining just how I see League of Legends in general, because I know there are some people that have asked me, like, how do you see League of Legends in general, and how do you see it between the added aspects of just when you look at, the LPL, the LCK, the LCS, and the LEC. Okay, so I'll make sure I explain it to you guys right now, because I know it can be like kind of confusing when it comes to like all of that. But let me make sure I save this document right here. It's not letting me. Okay, give me a second. I want to save this document. Save as document. Yeah, because I need this document for another video too. It's not saving as what the heck? File name. It's not letting me save this file. Okay, text documents, all files. That's so weird how this is literally not letting me save this file. Save. Okay, text documents. Okay, that's just really weird. Okay, let me do my best to just copy this. We're going to copy that. And we're going to end up deleting this. And then we're going to end up doing this as well. All right. Hi, Mr. Coleman.
Yeah, why did you drag me into this at gunpoint?
Oh, shit. Well, you told me that you were going to fire me and take my funding away. And then me like Reginald.
Yeah, I was going to do that. And then, I was going to make a hit stream on you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Holy God. All right, so I know people have asked me, like, how I see League of Legends per se. So this is kind of like just how I see the major regions. So this is what I like to call the bar system, right? So we're going to type it as the bar system, okay? And don't make fun of my spelling, Sean. Oh, my goodness. So this is the bar system I have for LPL, LCK, LCS, and LEC, okay? This is what I call the bar system. Because I think a lot of people in the community don't really understand just how good the LPL and the LCK are. And then if you like praise them, you get called a dick sucker, but it's like people just don't understand. So don't worry. I'll make sure I explain it to you. So here's how it goes, right? You have the LPL, right? And we need, before we talk about the regions at all, I want to make sure that we know what our system is. Okay, that's our system right there. You know how LS has his systems? That is our system right there, okay? Then we're going to make sure I copy that, paste it. I'm sorry if I explained this pretty bad so far. Okay, literally, we have the bar system, okay? There we go. These are your 4 major regions, right? Okay, so we're going to make sure our bar that we have for them, we'll give them a rating of like 10, okay? Our bar rating is 10, okay? 10, that's it, okay? Then under that, we're going to group them between, strongest to weakest, obviously. Number 1 being the LPL. Right now, they've won, every single world championship since 2018. The LCK has won, one of them, since 2020. It is pretty recent, but, the LPL right now has been a bit stronger, give or take who you talk to. It doesn't really matter, honestly, between these two. It only really matters when we're talking about the LEC, okay? So the LPL will have us like a 9, okay? Then we're going to have the LCK. Then we're going to have the LCK, and we're going to have them as a 8, okay? So number 3 would be the LEC, okay? The LEC actually is going to be, what would you have the LEC? Like 5, 6, right? Well, let's say 5. Let's say 5, right? LEC is a 5, okay? Then we have the LCS.
That is way too high for LEC.
I was gonna say 6, but I found that too high a little bit.
All right, give LCS
4,
4,
right?
4.5.
Yeah, about there.
I'm sorry. I don't care what the records say. All right, the moment Cloud9 and EG drafted better, they look better than G2 Fnatic. The only team that made it out of your fucking group was a team that almost threw a 3-0 lead and lost to a minor region team, only made it out because of a Korean import carrying them, and because they just ended up facing having the most coin flip LPL team ever in their group. Go fuck yourselves. Your region sucks ass.
So right after here, we have our numbers, right? So I know people always talk about this too. So okay, if you deem the LPL and the LCK like 8s and 9s, let's just say we use that system, right? Okay, them beating each other is a whole lot different than these two beating each other, or any of these teams beating them. Actually, if we're just talking about just this year, NA only has 1 game win against the LCK. 1 game win. Just this year. We're going to talk about this year in 2022, okay? NA has 1 game win against the LCK, and that was when T1 legitimately threw the game against EG. They easily could have won that game, Then the LCS has won no games against the LPL, and they've won how many games against the LEC this year? 3 against Mad, and 3 in week 2 of group stages. So that's 6 wins, right? So they only won 6 games against the LEC. LEC, they won, 9 games total against the LCS? Yeah, because G2 beat EG 7 times, and the Fnatic beat EG, and then Fnatic also beat Cloud9, so you have 9 wins there. So it's 6-9 with the LEC, right? So they're 6-9 with the LEC, and then they're 0 whatever against the LPL. We'll say winless against the LPL. So yeah, 1 game win against the LCK, and 6-9 against the LEC.
You forgetting another statistic.
Against Loud, fuck you.
Yeah. What Fnatic? EU at Worlds has won 0 games against the CB. Lol. We need to add that.
Winless against the LPL. So what else is interesting here is that people think that when these teams do bad against each other, that really just means these teams are shit. And it's like, no, that's a completely different thing you're looking at. The reason why I broke this down is because it's going to be imperative information we have moving forward. That being to understand when the LPL and the LCK go against each other, they're going to obviously, have, if you deem these players really good, they're going to actually, play against each other at a much higher competitive level. I know some people right now are talking about, well, why watch the LCS anymore when I could just watch the LPL and the LCK? You could have been doing that for a long time. If you chose not to do that, then you're retarded. Just saying, right? So, since these are our bar systems right here, okay, so any team, so like we had T1 as our example. T1 is our example, right? T1, I would deem as like an 8, right? They're actually pretty good. Now, when you have their weaknesses, that would probably make them about an 8, right? You're counting weaknesses and strengths too. But the bar that T1 has over teams from LEC and LCS is very, very big. Just because they might underperform against LPL teams or even their own LCK teams doesn't really matter. Unless you can produce a team as just as strong as this, it doesn't really matter. So T1, they're about an 8, right? They're a bit. So unless you're producing anywhere near a 7 or maybe a 6, you're not really going to be beating them. Now, Fnatic did end up beating T1 in week 1, which was really impressive, actually, but they got completely destroyed in week 2 as well. Korean teams definitely, pick it up as the tournament goes. So I know some people were like, T1's not going to do very well because of a lot of reasons. It doesn't really matter, guys. We're looking at that from the LCK point of view when they're playing against much better players, right? Against LEC and LCS players, it doesn't really matter, honestly. It really truly doesn't. Unless the bar of these teams are like around a 7, they're going to lose all 9 times out of 10, That was very proven with these other Korean teams. So that's the bar system, that I like to really just use myself. Whenever like the LPL and the LCK teams beat each other, I don't like to always make these brash assumptions that they're just super bad and against like LEC and LCS teams, they're going to do so much better. It doesn't really matter because the LEC and the LCS are much worse caliber teams than the LPL and the LCK. And this World Championship just proved it. We literally could have had a top 8 with all Asian teams, actually, just from this year alone. And I know people were like, well, the LCK is vastly behind the LPL. Last year at Worlds, the top 4 teams were Damwon, Kia, T1, Gen G, and EDG. 3 out of the top 4 teams last year in the top 4 were LCK teams. Is the LCK really that behind the LPL? Even though the LPL has a much wider franchise system with 18 teams, and the LPL has way more best of 5s to play. Just from last year's Worlds alone, the LCK had more top 4 teams at the World Championship in the semifinal, who made top 4 than the LPL. That's what happened, right? Now, this year is going to also be another lopsided number in the LCK's favor, given the top 8 matches that we're going to be playing starting tomorrow with Rogue versus JDG. Because remember, Top Esports also didn't make it as well. So if the LCK ends up winning some of their matches more, you are going to also have, a extra LCK team make the top 4 compared to a LPL team because, Top Esports didn't make it out of their group. Also, Gen G is playing up against Damwon, and looking at how both teams played, that's about to be a hot fucking banger right there. Damwon really, really picked it up like we knew they would have. I mean, we talked about on the show, we knew they were going to pick it up at the World Championship and show people that they're not a team to mess around with, and you could definitely consider them a dark horse to obviously win the event right now, but that's for, you know, a bit later. Just letting you guys know that it's going to be obviously harder for the Western teams to perform, you know, against the LPL and the LCK moving forward for next year's MSI and next year's World Championship. Guys, we literally could have had a top 8 full of just LPL and LCK teams. Rogue were the only Western team to make it. They won all their games in week 1 that they needed to, and they made it out because they beat Dam.
And they still shouldn't have. Yeah, they made it out. No, they made it out because of a fucking bug. The end. It should have been.
But the thing here, dude, is that there was only like one scenario in which they won't get out. Winning that first game, like we talked about, like last week, they were already secured out anyway. Honestly, like getting that 4th win is you're pretty much already out of groups. You know,
but it would have been a 3-way tie with 4 wins.
Yeah, and I agree. It's just that's what happens, man. That's why the system should have either more games. Or there should be a rule against that.
They should have submitted an appeal with the bug. The end.
But the problem here is like, what if? Because I know because well at MSI, remember they remade all those games. I mean at MSI they did it. I mean I'm just pointing out because I know people said why didn't they just remake the games? And I thought to myself, didn't they remake the games at MSI when it was like ladder or some bullshit that the teams were complaining about? So, they remade all those games for RNG when RNG couldn't attend MSI earlier this year.
So anyway, no, I'm officially not counting Rogues made it out of groups, you know, just like TSM's 2021.
But they won their games. They beat Dragon X and Top in the first week, though. I mean,
and it should have been a 3-way tie. Fuck you.
I love how Sean just disregards actually what happened, but it's okay. So
yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be out in the first round, and we'll just treat it like TES is going out.
I mean, do you think? Round. I mean, they're not making it out for me. Are you out of your mind? I'm giving them credit where credit is due, but they're not getting past JDG. I'm not predicting that. Okay, and later on, I'm gonna be doing my quarterfinal preview with you guys on my pick'ems. Actually, so all right, dude, let's talk about Group A. We're gonna go through one group at a time because there's actually a lot to talk about. So we're gonna try and condense it all in a little bit of a time frame. I can only give you guys about an hour-ish, 10 minutes, right? So let's get this done. Okay, so Group A, T1 makes it out 5-1, EDG makes it out 4-2, Fnatic 2-4, Cloud9 1-5. Let's be honest here, guys. Given Cloud9's performance last week, starting 0-3, we even said it. It wasn't going to be like last year's Worlds, where Cloud9 had to face off against FPX and Rogue, who were pretty much just shitting the bed, honestly.
Because they had to win all 3 this time, because if they lost one, then one would have 4 wins, and then the other 2 would face each other for 4 wins.
And what also
3
helped,
wins.
And what also helped Cloud9 last year was that Rogue at least was competitive with FPX to beat them. Rogue beat FPX both times. So that also helped Cloud9's favor too. There was a lot more things going for Cloud9 last year than this year. And plus the teams are just stronger this year. You know, like I'm just being honest with you, the teams that they're facing this year in this group stage was way, way stronger. And they just played bad. Like, there's no ifs, ands, ors, or buts. They played really bad. This was Jensen's worst Worlds by far, outside of, like, 2019.
Well, their players, like Jensen, have small champion pools right now. Do they not?
Oh, I thought you were asking me. It's a combination of that. I also think it was the fact that he got completely gapped. Another thing, I don't know what play style they were trying to settle on. This was one of the few World Championships where they literally came to Worlds really not even understanding what they even want to do. And that's surprising because they're usually the team that makes it out trying to, you know, kind of one up the Korean and Asian teams, trying out these weird picks and then having success with them. But this World Championship, it felt like they lacked any identity. Now, to be fair, we also talked about Sven's not really a support. He's going to get completely destroyed also by better supports than him. And if the meta changes, he's going to get destroyed. We already knew he wasn't going to play
well.
But
the thing is, the meta didn't change much at all. You still could have, like, played all those champs, like Yumi, and he also could have.
Right, yeah.
And again, he was good on champions like Alistar and Nautilus. It's just the comps they drafted for it. It's just he was engaging into his death. There was nothing he could do there.
Yeah, like we talked about the Fnatic game last week, and he played like shit. Like I don't know what he was trying to hook. He was trying to hook his winless group stage week or something.
Well,
but
there's nothing he could do there against that comp. Again, like despite what the records say, I'm sorry, Fnatic looked worse than Cloud9. They literally won that first game off of draft diff totally. Cloud9 was like even being competitive with them for like the most of the game despite that draft. They probably would have 2 wins over them if not for that. But I mean, both of them made it out anyway. Cloud9 was just way too one-dimensional.
I also think the players just played really bad. Like they all played
Fudge
bad.
for some reason kept going for the ego picks instead of just picking stuff like Ornn.
He didn't win a single laning phase either. Like he was always down. Dude, I watched every game. He was down always 20 CS. I was like, what is that? And then he's picking the counter pick into them. That's the crazy shit. He's picking this stuff into him. He's getting the favorable matchups. And he's still losing. And Fudge, we know he's not a bad player. We know he's not bad. So I don't know what this was from the team.
Yeah, but it's like, why couldn't he just pick stuff like Renekton and Ornn? Why did he, and Camille?
Well, did you see his tweet? He literally said he wasn't going to pick Renekton. I thought that was a joke. I literally thought that was a joke, but he literally did. He kept his word, I could say.
Yeah, for LS, I guess. Okay.
Hey, but LS is a great guy. His systems are definitely working.
Yeah, totally.
So, also, Sean told me something about these weird, cringe LS fanboys. Guys, I'm being honest here. Even if LS was still the head coach and he made it with them all the way to this World Championship, he's still not making out of this either. These T1 and EG were just too strong.
Yes, and we don't know if it would have worked the same where they won LCS. We don't know.
Yeah, we just don't know. And looking at how strong T1 and EDG are, I'm just going to say no. Under an assumption, I'll just say no, because these teams beat the shit out of them. It wasn't even fair.
Because Isles was bad, so they wouldn't have put in Sven.
Oh no, my bad. I forgot to. Sorry. With this roster, even if he was head coaching this roster with Berserker and Sven and Jensen, I still don't think it really means anything. I think they still go 1-5. They might get an extra win, maybe. We're talking like huge maybes here, you know. Because I know people were like that. They're like, well, they got rid of LS, who could have drafted better against these Asian teams. It's like, you can draft better, but if the players are worse, it doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean they got lane phase gapped. All of them were like down like 20 CS post like 10 minutes. 10 minutes, people. It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. No, I'm sure Fudge Mid would have done well against Scout.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, shit. So, Cloud9, I really don't know what they're going to be doing in the offseason, honestly. To be fair, I'm being honest here. All they need to do is just swap out Sven, get a truly really good support that gels well with the team, and I think you're good to go. I think you're fine. Just get a real support.
I mean, you really think they're going to keep Jensen?
I think so. Because I think because they already got him back. They did win a title with him. He did kind of pick it up in playoffs. But the problem here, he really underperformed at Worlds. It really just depends. Like, do you want to pull a Steve and get rid of him? And maybe he pops up on another rival team?
Okay, the thing, he's going to only get worse from here. And
that's the thing, though, is how... It's a twofold thing. It's like, okay... You could look at it a lot like this. The group was already pretty impossible for them to get out. It was like mega hopium. They get out at second, but he played a lot more worse compared to the level that you think he would play at. So I think personally they should just kind of make a support change, because I think a support change would be just the most beneficial thing going forward.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people threw out the idea of getting Core JJ.
Yeah, if Core JJ is going to be a free agent, I mean, that would be pretty good for the team, honestly.
I mean, do you think there's any chance if they go out? If they go out in the first round of Worlds, and do you think there's any chance Beryl would come here, because he already won Worlds before, just to make the money?
If they could implement Beryl in, that wouldn't be a bad player too. Because you're talking about getting a player to pair up with Berserker, so he has a lane partner he can talk to.
Just thinking of the best Korean support, like Beryl or.
I like you said, getting Core JJ would probably be a number one priority, because we kind of know that Team Liquid is going to be probably changing up their roster a lot. That's just the best way that I can really say about that. Because it also depends what these Korean players want to come over here. Now that they saw that NA went 3-15, it's going to be really hard attracting a lot of these top tier import players.
We can get Snowflower.
I hate you. So, Fnatic, they just look like pure shit. You know, I give credit where credit is due all the time. They played really well in week 1, and they just went to the shitter.
No,
I don't know what the fuck happened here.
Those 2 games were drafted. That's it.
Hell yeah, excuses. I love it.
Yeah, well, they literally were. Sorry.
So, you confirmed their excuses. I got this, man. I got him where I want him, guys.
No,
I got him. He confirmed it.
Now T1 didn't play well, I'll say that, but nonetheless, it was literally draft diff.
It was slight draft diff, also players slightly overperforming. I think it's a combination of both, because the players themselves, it finally felt like they found their stride with this team. It finally felt like they brought it all together. And then when it finally felt like they brought it all together, guys, you know what happened? Didn't mean shit. They got completely destroyed. I don't know what happened.
They were always frauds. But yeah, I mean, again, the only reason why we predicted Cloud9 to get out of this group, even though it was unlikely, because again, all 4 of the teams had issues where they could be evenly matched, and that's exactly what happened. All the issues, besides Gumayushi turning it around because he was on his comfort picks, all the teams showed the exact same issues we said they would, especially EDG doing nothing special at all. Like, like they're as I said, they're probably like the worst LPL team this world's. TES literally lost because of a fucking bug, so let's not talk about that. So yeah, that's the only reason why, because of Cloud9's history then of clutching it out. So just if we see any weakness like openings like we did with Gen G in 2018 at this point, I'm just gonna kind of predict them because they've already, proven enough times outside of 2 instances ever. But yeah, this wasn't one of them, and I knew it was the most unlikely besides 2019. But if they had a better head coach, they would have had a better chance. Maybe go 3 wins, maybe. But even then, EDG and T1 would still just look gapping them hard. So,
for me personally, I think the thing with Fnatic is I really just don't know. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, we've talked about this Fnatic team, I don't know, all year. They showed a lot of these issues already. It just kind of felt like they finally fixed up some of the problems they initially had. But then it kind of felt like they also peaked as well. They kind of just peaked when they beat T1, and they could really never get over that hurdle.
Sorry, that's always Fnatic, though. They're always a team of 5 players who are all very good, but besides Upset now for the last 2 years, who's amazing, they're always a team of just players who are very good, but not great. And in order for them to all play great,
you talk about for a Western team standard, they're always good for a Western team standard.
Yes, but not great outside of Upset. They're only great if they have find their chemistry. They need to have the chemistry of all 5 players, and they started to with Humanoid and Razork and Wonder, and then Hellsing was Intin though, but
And then it always kind of felt like they truly never got their drafting issues fixed. And there's rumors right now that Yamato Cannon is going to be out of Fnatic, and we talked about that.
No shit.
Yeah, it's guys, even if you think a coach is bad, when a contract is up after 2 years and a person's been on an org for 2 years, you can pretty much guarantee that offseason they're going to end up going. But yeah, Fnatic ended up
I thought
collapsing.
This was his first year back.
Oh, Yamato? No, he's coached for them last year, remember? That 2-year contract is up. He's going to be going to another org.
I thought that was a... never mind.
Thought that was you're a racist. So, EDG. EDG and T1 pretty much smashed Fnatic and Cloud9. These games weren't close at all, honestly. EDG only lost to T1 because they just legitimately looked worse than T1. But they're still a scary team. I think the issue here is what's his name? Flandre got completely exposed by Zeus in the games. A lot of the EDG players got exposed. The only person that didn't really get exposed was Scout against Faker. I think Scout played pretty much fine against Faker. If you're talking about EDG up against their T1 counterparts, T1 definitely looked way better. That's not even debatable.
I mean, that was another reason, by the way, why I said Fnatic was doing better at the start.
And probably would, because again, Faker and Scout are not looking in form at all this year. So Humanoid had an open in there,
I
and
thought
he
Faker
took
played well so
advantage of it
far.
in week 1.
I think Faker played well so far. Like
I'm not saying they aren't. I'm just saying for a Korean and LPL mid standard.
Okay. Wait, I'm hearing myself just a little bit on your end. Oh, let me turn myself down just a little bit. Okay, so T1 and EDG make it out first and second seed, just like last year in 2021, where you had 100 Thieves here, and you have Dead Nation Fuck Me, who went 0-6. So yeah, T1 and EDG make it out. That's not surprising for a lot of people. I had the Hopium. I thought Cloud9 could do it, but turns out they were just so much worse than these guys that didn't even matter. All right, let's go to Group B. JDG ending up 5-1.
The free group.
Damwon Kia ended up 5-1. Evil Geniuses 1-5, and G2 1-5. They finished tied because they both had the same win-loss record. G2 also lost more games, so I think you should probably just consider EG the third best team in the group, especially during week 2. Team. Especially during week 2, EG definitely proved they were a bit better than G2, and by a bit better, I mean they finally had proven it. Yes. Even though we know that they could, we knew that they could match G2. It's just they lost 7 times. I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, if you want to know the worst meme account on Twitter, check out that Abyss guy.
Oh my goodness, Jesus Christ.
Easily the worst fucking God. How can you call yourself a memer but then get triggered constantly and have a region as garbage as NA living rent-free in your head? That is just embarrassing anyway.
Okay. G2, their performance at the World Championship was just bad. Like just with man, and these are orgs that I've been with for a while. It's just so crazy that this is probably their worst Worlds performance for G2 outside of like 2016. Yeah, like literally they got completely
their worst was that year. They only won 1 game in that they shouldn't have. They just got lucky that Albus Nox Luna was playing poorly near the end.
Albus Nox Luna was also not good, but they did also troll in their last game against G2 as well, knowing that they got out.
Which was, they could have got first seed, but whatever. But it ended up working well for them, though. But it ended up working well because, they got H2K. So, hey, it was all 5-head strategy.
Yeah. And if you were watching Worlds in 2016, you knew when they drafted any team they were going to go 3-0. Yeah, they were going to get blown the fuck out. That was not surprising to me. I know a lot of people thought it was surprising, but here's what it is. G2 definitely got completely destroyed at the World Championship. I do think that I'll say this though. Caps tried his best. I mean, he was definitely trying. Like he played. Caps played legitimately well, and that's so sad to see that he played well. It's just every single person on his team really just didn't do much. Flackett got completely gapped. Why are G2 drafting Seraphine? They told the NA teams, do not draft Seraphine. You will get destroyed. You know what G2 does? They draft Seraphine and they get destroyed. So it's do not draft Seraphine. Why are they drafting Seraphine against these teams? I don't know. Maybe Flackett was just underperforming so hard. They were thinking to themselves, you know what? You can't underperform that well in Seraphine, right? Just shoot your ability straight.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Who's the weaker performing player in the bot lane right now? Because both of them have been looking like they've been struggling. But is it just one player or is it both?
I would do Flackett really. He was someone that I was super skeptical on going into the year anyway. I think he peaked at MSI earlier this year, and then ever since MSI, he never really got back to that form that he showed in that tournament. He just kept falling off.
Yeah, I mean, we did say he wasn't great, but we just said he would be good enough with the rest of the team because the rest of the team's that good.
And dude, we've told people, like, if your team opts to put you on a champion like Seraphine bot, they know they have no faith you can carry a game. They have zero faith. Also, their bot lane got completely gapped every single game. They were getting Huhi FBI gapped in some of these games. It was really hard to watch. So we know that there's rumors about, Jankos and Flackett leaving. Jankos also really didn't have a good year either. Like, he was there. He was good. He was good to okay, but he wasn't nothing great for them, actually.
It was the same thing last year, but people gave him a free pass for some reason.
Yeah, right? We talked about that last year, too. He wasn't playing good really last year either. He just kind of picked it up when it came to the playoffs. And Jankos is a player where, like, he's definitely not to say fallen off. He's just been a good to solid player. But I think moving forward, if the rumors are true and he's truly out of G2, it makes sense. He really didn't play that well. Not even just throughout the summer split. They definitely struggled in this group stage like pretty hard. I think this team hit a ceiling after winning spring earlier this year and making top 4 at MSI, and they never could really get back to that ceiling that they hit. I mean, they peaked very early on, and that's what we had talked about. G2's an org where they kind of know how to get the most out of their players, and they did, and that kind of bit them in the ass later on when it came to the World Championship. Evil Geniuses also go 1-5. They break their curse. No one beats EG 7 times. No one beats EG 8 times in a row. Holy shit. EG finally break their losing streak against G2. Though it's fair to say that G2 is still better than them because they did win 7 of the games. But they did manage to clutch it out in their final game against them. And EG definitely popped off against G2. I was really a fan of Inspired. This World's actually, I like that he pulled out picks like the Hecker. I think Inspired played legitimately great for Evil Geniuses. There's, many things you can say about Evil Geniuses right now. But the best performing players that I could point to is, Vulcan. I think he had a pretty good Worlds, all things considered. I think Inspired had a pretty good Worlds, all things considered. I think Jojo Pion didn't play that bad, considering he's facing off against, top tier, LPL, LCK players. Impact looked about as good as Impact is always going to look against some of these players, actually. So, and Kaori. I think Kaori looked just about as good as he was gonna against players like Det Dom and fucking Hope. It's one of these things where you can't really hope for much for EG. I mean, they were predicted to go 0-6 and they got one more win than people had predicted for, and it's like, oh, okay, and it was like, you know what, Europe, we're gonna just sabotage all of your fucking chances of making it out in week 2. So it's one of these things where Evil Geniuses, they also got pretty hard gapped by Damwon and JDG. Though they looked pretty good against JDG in that first game they played, in week 1. This is what we like to tell people is the LPL and the LCK teams take time to ramp up during the event. Just because they might look bad in one game doesn't mean you're going to have to be able to necessarily count that for the next game, right? After that, EG are done. We'll talk about them more later on this year because they're going to also have some changes moving forward. They're going to be, obviously getting back Danny or choosing between him and Kaori, obviously. Damwon definitely surprised a lot of people because Damwon's performance in the LCK was just really bad. Like at moments, it literally looked like they were just running it down half the time. Then there was games where they looked like they were one of the best teams in the league, which is really weird. What I always talked about Damwon was the fact that Damwon really never utilized their bot lane to the fullest extent. That could be, Canyon giving them, ganks and resources to get through a laning phase. But the problem that I told people is when they figure out how to utilize their bot lane, because it's going to be an issue when they first get them, if they can finally get their bot lane on the same page as the other players like Naguri, Canyon, and Showmaker, that it's going to work out really well for them. And we saw Dekdom and Keelan really, really pop off, throughout this World Championship group stage so far. There's a world where Damwon could have gotten first. Let's not get it twisted here. There's a world where Damwon could have made it out first. Remember, guys, the LCK is stated to be weaker than the LPL, yet 3 out of the top 3 out of the 4 teams that are in number 1 spots are LCK teams. Did I not say that? I also mentioned that. The LCK teams are really good at best of ones. They're actually, and their style works very good with best of ones as well. You literally have 3 out of the 4 teams in all of the groups making it out at the top as LCK teams. That's fucking ridiculous, actually. But then again, I'm not going to not predict for the LCK to get the top spots in the group stages unless it's proven to me that they're not going to be doing it for a while. Because I know people are going to go like, well, I don't want to predict that because they have to show it. They've showed it so many times. They've already showed it so many times that they can get out at first place in the group stages consistently. People were surprised that Faker had gotten out of the group stage that many times as first. Is like, yeah. Like, why would Faker has never gotten second place in the group stage? I'm not going to just predict this year that he wouldn't because random bullshit reasons, go. It's like, no, it's fucking stupid. You know, like there's a world where Damwon literally could have been first. There's a world
there's a world where RNG could have been first and TES could have been first if not for the bug.
Oh, also true. That bug was that's pretty bad actually.
Yes, if it wasn't for that, I think they not only would have made it out, but first seed. I think DRX is just still a fraud, but
wow, Sean will never give anyone credit ever in his life.
What?
Well,
they got put in. I was the one who defended them. I said they were better than all you guys were saying. I said they were way better than you people were giving them fucking credit.
I was judging them by LCK standards.
All right,
and you know that. I was judging them by LCK standards.
Yeah, and like, you still, wouldn't give them
a bad
the credit.
LCK team. And but I also said they're gonna beat every single team worse than them. Did I not say that? Which I mean, that literally happened.
I did as well. I just said that there's actually a chance that like a team like Saigon Buffalo could upset them if they turn it around.
You mean Sanyong Chung Chunks?
And that they shouldn't have got out first seed, which they shouldn't have if it wasn't for RNG getting fucked over there with the schedule. But
good God.
And then they just got lucky. They got placed in the easiest group ever. and that top esports not only is a coin flip team, but had a bug.
We're almost there. So, going into the best of fives, if you give Canyon Graves, unplug your computers and go home. Literally, if you give that guy Graves, unplug your computers and get off the stage.
Well, you shouldn't be giving any player Graves in this meta.
Especially not Canyon. That game against JDG where Canyon popped off on Graves, oh my God.
If Graves is open and a team doesn't pick it, you're fucking retarded. There's no other...
Oh my God. If you leave Graves open for Canyon, get off the stage. Just get off.
No, then your mom was probably an anti-vaxxer.
Oh shit. Don't get it twisted, guys. I think JDG did play very, very well. I know people said that Yagao kind of underperformed. I don't really think so. I've never been the hugest fan of him. I think he's just a okay LPL mid laner. If I'm being honest with you guys, he's just an okay player. I think 369 and Kanavi really stepped up for JDG. I think they were their biggest performers in the group stage. Hope and Missing were okay. They were okay. Like, they definitely had some issues, but, this being your first world championship, there's a lot of pressure on these teams, from their fans. So you just got to look at it like that. Sometimes when it's a player's first world championship, sometimes you got to let the players kind of like ramp up or they crumble under the pressure, actually. But Kanavi and 369, that 369 HLS game was amazing to see, actually. But yeah, guys, there's a world where Damwon could have got out first. And yeah, they're looking pretty scary right now. But their world's run might actually end very, very soon when we're going to talk about the quarterfinal matchups, actually. So that's what
great schedule by Riot Games.
I love Riot, actually. I love how I get Damwon versus Genji, even though I've literally seen that all year, actually. But it's okay. It's okay. I love World Championships.
Well, look, the teams are gonna face each other again, no matter what, because they're the best teams. So at the end of the day, I don't really care as much as other people do.
That is true. At least we know we're going to get some good quality games.
I guess that's one benefit for the lower bracket, so we do see other games, but I'm still not a fan of it. I think it's just... I understand why people will. I just, personally, I like... It makes these games feel more important. I think just improving on the group stage would make it better. Increasing the amount of groups or the number of teams there would just be better. And then having like a certain like format of like a best of 3 to make it out as like the 3rd seed in your group, and just increase the bracket size to like.
I'm gonna text James really quickly. Okay. Yeah, I'm right here. I'm just gonna text my friend super quickly.
Okay. And I think increasing the bracket size to like 12 to 16 teams would be better than just increasing the number of teams that go to Worlds. I think that would be just better, but than having a lower bracket, but.
Sorry, guys. Come on, phone. Load up, phone. Come on. Okay, let me text my friend really quickly. Come on.
Okay, well, anyway, so DRX, it is an absolute disgrace to League of Legends that this team not only got out, but got out first seed. But this is what happens when you're in an easy group, I guess, just like with Splice in 2018 or so, or 2019. So Rogue was... one of their wins was pretty much just draft diff, but the other wins were pretty legit though, so they would have at least been 2-1. But yeah, nonetheless, they looked like shit in week 2, and they literally they almost lost the GAM Esports, which they honestly should have, and then they only made it out because they got lucky because of a
Really?
bug. So
That game, they pretty handily beat them.
So
that second game they played, Rogue pretty handily beat them for what I saw.
The game against GAM,
yeah, they pretty handily won.
GAM put up a good, but they could have lost to them.
Like 5 minutes in. It was like 5 minutes in.
No, it was throughout the game as well. There were a lot of points they could have. I'm not saying they didn't deserve the win. I'm saying they could have, unless I said by accident they should have. Then never mind. But no, I'm just saying they could have. But nonetheless, all these teams in this group were frauds anyway. They're all going to go out in the first round. This was a garbage group. This was like that group in 2019 with J Team and stuff. All you people are worse than fucking Mad Lions. You shouldn't be at Worlds. Go home and go fuck off. And the sad part is DRX actually has a chance to make top 4 as well now because they're facing EDG, the weakest team in the top 8 other than them and Rogue. Yeah. So that is just pathetic.
The thing with GAM Esports going 1-5, that's not surprising at all. Most people knew they were gonna not make it out of the group stage. That's pretty known, right? The problem here is like when Top lost to GAM in that fashion that they did. I know a lot of people were like happy that an upset happened, but it's like you do know like Top is out because of that, right? You know, Top Esports it's out because of that, right? So that means
because of a bug.
So that means that you're happy that an upset happened, and that's great. But the problem here is that people were like, I want to see more Top Esports after their other games. Then why were you cheering that they were out of the World Championship? That doesn't make any sense. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all.
It's because they have the brain of like a goldfish. They basically, you have to understand the average like 50% of League of Legends fans, they watch a game while it's happening and then they react off of that, but don't actually think about what the overall bracket and format means. Like, for example, NA fans will be like, EU, why so quiet, lol, ha ha ha, after they win one game, not realizing that they're already out of groups, like fucking like FlyQuest in 2019 in that fucking group when they beat Top Esports. So that's just idiot League of Legends fans. They don't know how to use their brains, but yeah, this is a disgrace. Should have been DRX and Top Esports getting out, but yeah, fuck Riot Games.
Sorry about that. There's a dog outside. Okay, so for me in Group C, I think it boils down to Jesus Christ. Sorry, I think it completely boils down.
Got that dog in him.
God, I want to beat his ass. God. So I think it boils down to GAM being the weakest team. They ended up going out as 4th place. Top Esports lost to GAM, and when you're a 3-horse race to make it out of the group, you cannot lose to a team like GAM because that's going to be the one loss that you don't need, because that's going to most likely be the loss that is going to stop you from getting out of the group, because obviously, as you know, since it's a upset, GAM isn't going to be able nor be good enough as a team to obviously beat the other teams to maybe even get you in a position to obviously, make it out of the group. So Top losing to GAM in the fashion that they did in combination with the bug definitely ruined their chances of making it out. They played very well, throughout the rest of the games, actually, against DRX and Rogue. And it's kind of sad that it's another TN team that doesn't make it out of the group stage 2 years in a row. But this one is definitely not his fault. I think that Top took a little too long to ramp up during the event, actually. I think Top looked at it like, okay, we're going to ramp up throughout the event. But ramping up throughout the event, you need to also win the games you need to. And Rogue beating DRX and Top in week 1 pretty much secured their shot of getting out of the group, like we had talked about. I had mentioned even on my main YouTube channel that Rogue pretty much winning those 3 games and having to face GAM first pretty much secured them getting out of the group. Now, the rest of the day, obviously, yes, Rogue played worse. That is not debatable. I think they definitely played way, way down to a lot of even like 100 Thieves and Cloud9 level, actually. I think they definitely played down to those teams' levels, actually. But to be fair, Cloud9 and 100 Thieves, they did kind of win their games when it mattered to at least hopefully have a shot at getting out of the group. But, or you can compare like this. Rogue definitely looked as bad as G2 and Fnatic, but just the fact that Rogue won those very crucial games in week 1 pretty much put their destiny in their own hands to make it out of the group. You know, I know people are going to be like, oh, well, you made it out. Guys, let's be honest here. They won. Rogue won legitimately when it mattered in week 1 to secure themselves the best possible shot at getting out. That's it. It's just how it works. You know, they won the first 3 games. They only needed 1 win because we knew if they were facing GAM, they were going to win, you know?
Yeah, or because, yeah, you know that, you know, Riot Games would fuck them over with the bug, right? Oh, he's gonna go fucking kill that dog shit.
I'm gonna need to call PETA on MSK. God damn it. Let's phone PETA up.
Sorry about that, guys. It's just this dog's going crazy. Like, I have to mute sometimes in this episode when he's barking.
That fucking dog. Call PETA.
So, Rogue getting those wins. Oh, like the schedule pretty much got Rogue out in week 2. They have 3 wins. They were 3-0. They were 4-0. There was literally, guys, there was like 1 scenario where they don't make it out. And that was if the scenario had panned out. If Top had beat GAM, that was going to start the scenario. If Top had beat GAM, Top also beat Rogue, then they beat DRX, then, you know, tiebreakers also play out pretty much just like last year's group with TL and Gen G. That's how it would have played out, actually. It's the exact same scenario. So, yeah, Top losing to GAM made all that not possible. So, Rogue is, yes, lucky that they got a chance to face GAM first to get their first 4-0. That was right in the script. But I'll say this, though. Could they bounce back, actually? Because they didn't play horrible in week 1. I actually think they played pretty well in week 1. Just in week 2, they played like shit, you know? So, do you have faith in Rogue, dude, even winning a game against JDG, actually? No. Okay. Oh, shit. Oh, God. DRX, I'll say this about DRX. I think they actually are good, but the problem with DRX is they're good compared to, like, teams that are completely worse than them. And I like Deft a lot. I think Zeka has had a really good tournament so far. Outside of just Zeka, I think Deft and Zeka both have had a really good tournament so far. But compared to like the other teams here, like DRX is going to beat any team that's worse than them. They're bad by LCK standards. They're pretty like basic by LCK standards. But you just like I said with T1, you put them against any team with worse players, they're going to end up getting clapped. You know. Now, I'll say this about DRX. DRX is very, very good at closing out games. If they get a lead, they are super precise at closing out. And that's a very good thing to have, because if DRX are facing EDG and they get an early game lead, we know it's over. We know DRX can close games out. So that's going to be very scary for EDG going forward in their BO5. But DRX getting out first in the group, that wasn't surprising for me. I just thought that Top Esports would have got out second. You know, I got most of my Korean predictions correct. So I like that. All right, let's go on to Group D. We have Gen G finishing 5-1, RNG 5-1, 100 Thieves 1-5, CTBC flying, Ching Chongs 1-5 actually. So this isn't surprising at all. Sean last week talked about the whole Machi esports things. Yeah, well, when Machi beat Team Liquid, they also lost every single game after that, which is what Flying Oyster did. It sounds like the PCS is literally only good enough to get one crucial win in a group stage. That's it. And then they just lose everything else. Because I know everyone was like, man, they beat 100 Thieves in week 1. They're looking like in top. They could even maybe challenge RNG to get out. I was like, okay, no. Yes, they played good against 100 Thieves, but 100 Thieves look like shit. So, I guess, right? They literally lost every game after that, guys. So this happens in a lot of times at the World Championship. A team will get a win against like an NA or a European team, and then that team after that win goes winless. They literally lost every single game. 5-game losing streak. Okay, didn't even really play as well after they beat 100 Thieves. You know why? Because they played against much better players. That's kind of how that works, guys, in League of Legends. It's almost as if like player difference makes an actual like legitimately problem for teams that are about their level.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it.
We'll fix it. Getting rid of the import rule, just letting them import anyone they want.
Wasn't there a rumor that the PCS is going to be merging with the LJL actually, or LL whatever? What is DFM's fucking thing? What's the
why
acronym
would they
for
do
it?
that though? Japan and PCS are fine on their own.
Yeah, whatever Japan's acronym is. But
why would they do it? Is LJL, but why would
LJL,
they do that?
Yeah.
Why
That
would
was a
they do
rumor.
that?
I don't know if it's gonna be true. I can pre-order Mario
That would
Rabbids.
be stupid. Japan and the PCS regions are huge on their own, and it makes sense to separate it. And they're already good on their own, unless they want to try to make another fucking major region with it, and have them in there. If that's the case, then because at this point they actually could, if like fucking DFM can get a win off of RNG and shit, but.
100 Thieves played just about as bad as everyone thought they were. They got their one win against Flying Oyster, like we knew they would going into week 2. But yeah, that's pretty much.
100 Thieves is the worst team at this Worlds in the main group stage.
You think they're worse than GAM, actually?
Yes.
K4 Polo says. Jesus Christ. And so is Team Vitality. Forget. Team Vitality are also undefeated at this Worlds too.
And Misfits will be for the next 30 years.
Well, they won't even be in org for the next 30 years either. So
they'll be undefeated. What do you mean?
So 100 Thieves looked pretty bad. Abadage ran it down, sprinted to try and be, I don't know, jobless going into next year. FBI and Huhi, after they beat Flying Oyster with Callista and Amumu, they just got completely gapped. One of the teams gave RNG Kaisa, and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, just unplug your computers and get the fuck off the stage. If you're going to draft that shitty, just get off the stage. There's not much more I could personally say about 100 Thieves that everyone else has probably not already said, because I'll just be rephrasing the same shit. They just played bad. I think Someday was their best player. All of these shakeups with 100 Thieves right now in the offseason kind of look like that the fact that they are going to be having some major roster changes going into the 2023 season for League of Legends. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Actually, yeah, I think they just played really bad. I truly don't know what is going to be their end game for next year, actually, because my first guess would be if you can't secure, if you can't secure FBI or Huhi, because I'm pretty sure they're not going to end up keeping Abadage, Huhi, or FBI. They might keep Abadage potentially because he has got that 1-year clause on his contract. He's contracted until 2024, I think, or the end of 2023. I'm pretty sure FBI and Hui's contracts are up. I'm pretty sure at this point. They've been with 100 Thieves for a little bit at this point. So I don't know. Actually, I really don't know. They played just so bad at the World Championship. I mean, it was hard watching these teams play. It was so hard, guys. my brain was literally dying watching these guys. It's like they knew and accepted that they weren't going to get out of the group, so they just, I guess, played down to even the PCS's level. It's like, what in the world is going on here? But that's it for 100 Thieves. I think they just, I don't know. They played just about as well as most people thought. Closer just missed every single ultimate. Huhi playing like he was on crack. It just looks so hopeless, honestly. All right. I forgot Warren said he can join at 8, so let me send Warren the link. Okay. RNG getting out second. RNG, I think, have a real shot at winning Worlds if they actually, can manage to beat T1. Remember, we have a big matchup for them coming up actually tomorrow. Okay. We can join now. We are still going. Okay. So I'll say it to Warren. If Warren joins, then he can. Okay. So RNG and Genji made it out. Genji managed to really pick it up towards week 2. They're same thing with EDG ramping up throughout the event. I think RNG did struggle a little bit, but it's not as bad as everyone's making it out to be. I do think they are a very strong team, and I do think this is not a team you definitely want to underestimate. They've been definitely scaling up with the event. A lot of these LPL and LCK teams scaling up with the event is pretty scary to see, but we're going to have to see who scales up further because these matches coming up tomorrow are going to start that. But that's pretty much it. This group was pretty easy decidable for me. I knew Genji'd get out first. I knew RNG get out second. This is the easiest group to predict, actually. All right, so we're going to go to my LoL Esports account, and we are going to end up doing my pick'ems for the quarterfinal matches, actually. Okay? So they start tomorrow, obviously, 2 p.m. PST, and we are going to go to my pick'ems for the 2022 World Championship, and we're going to do that right now. Give me a second. Here we go to pick'ems. We have a lot of news to talk about. Not this week, and do it in your ass. I'm just kidding with you guys. All right. Does Rogue pull off the upset? Let's preview the first match. Rogue versus JDG. Now, JDG, the only weak point about their team is their bot lane. I think Comp and Trimby, if they can play up to the level that they played in week 1, they could definitely win, some matches against JDG if they're only playing through bot lane. Everywhere else, I think it's pretty... See, that's the weird thing about this matchup is everyone thinks it's going to be a quick 3-0, which is not really going to be the case because people need to look at it this way. Could you see a world where Larson goes toe-to-toe with Yagao? I can see a world where that's possible. 3-6. So we'll start at the top. 369 versus Otawamne. I'm pretty sure 369 takes that. Otawamne definitely showed a lot of weaknesses in week 2, but definitely showed some strides in week 1. Jungle matchup, we have Malrong versus Kanavi. Kanavi definitely has been a pretty good player for JDG. Definitely going to be a whole lot more effective in the matches than Malrong. I don't think Malrong's holistically been bad this World Championship. I think he had a pretty good World, all things considered, but it's still, Kanavi favored. Yagao versus Larson, I think is pretty much a toss-up. I think there's going to be some games where Larson is going to overperform. There's going to be some games where Yagao overperforms. I think the real big strength for Rogue right now is their bot lane. If Rogue can effectively play through their bot lane, I think they can actually almost upset JDG. But do I go for the Hopium pick? Does EU get a top 4 team into the 2022 World Championship? It's a toss-up. I think this is actually a little bit more, not even. I think there's points into this game that Rogue could definitely win. There's definitely ways I see them winning. But are they going to win? The safe bet is JDG. The crazy bet is Rogue. But can I be one of those 18% of people that believed in Rogue?
No.
I don't know, honestly, guys. I see a world where it's possible.
JDG, RNG, damn one. All right.
Oh, God. This is a crazy one. All right. I'll spice up my... Okay, hold on. Give me a sec. Let me go to my other pick'ems, actually. Pick'ems. Let me see how I panned out for my other thing, actually. Picks.
Not well.
I definitely didn't pan out too well. Oh, my... What the heck? It didn't pan out too well. Let me refresh this page. I think it just... This whole page just stopped loading? What the fuck just happened here?
Your internet is so shit.
What the fuck just happened there? Okay, groups.
Maybe you shouldn't have so many porn tabs open, then, it would load better.
So hey, man. I didn't have Top Esports getting out first. What the fuck? Oh, I didn't save it. God damn it.
You're such a dumb fuck.
Oh my God. Everyone knows what I said. I predicted DRX to get out first. Fuck off for anyone who thinks otherwise. I literally said they're going to have all LCK teams getting out first. I literally said that. Okay, so, I did pretty well. Yeah, I did well. All right, so quarterfinals.
You did not do well, but okay.
Is there a world where JDG beats aren't? I think JDG are going to win, but I think it's going to be a 3-2. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those series where you don't expect it to go to 5 games, but it is. But I think JDG ends up pulling it out. The only way I could see Rogue winning any of these 2 games that I think are going to happen in this best of 5 is you play through their bot lane. Comp and Trimby have shown they're not going to play scared. They're willing to take these matchups. They're willing to try these picks out. How far is that going to really get them, though? You know, that happened in the damn one game too. Keelan and Dekdom got really far ahead on Aphelios and Lulu, and it didn't really work out for JDG. But that's because if you give 369 Aatrox, then it's just going to be a big problem, right? All right. We have a rematch of the 2022 MSI RNG versus T1. Can T1 get their revenge against RNG? There's 10% that thinks RNG is going to win. What? I think it's pretty even, honestly. I mean...
No, I'm going RNG.
Okay, top lane, you have Zeus versus Breathe. I think both have had really good tournaments so far. I would give the edge to Zeus in this matchup, though. You have Owner versus Wei. I think Wei edges that out, right? I think Wei edges it out. I think Owner's looked good, but not as good as Wei. I'll say that.
Actually, never mind. I'll go T1 because I forgot they improved on some things.
He sucks on Faker's 3-inch cock.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh shit. Okay. Faker versus Xiaohu. That's a pretty even matchup right now. I never thought I would say that ever. I never thought in my mouth I would say Faker and Xiaohu's an even matchup.
Because you're an idiot. Anybody would say that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, back then you wouldn't because you'd be fucking crazy. But now, Xiaohu definitely can give it to Faker. I mean, it's pretty even between them. If you give Faker a call, if they let T1 get their comfort picks, they're done. RNG's not going to do that, though. RNG are definitely going to be a team that is going to throw
they
T1
will
on
because
picks.
They're always bad at drafting, so that's why I switched my predictions.
So if RNG can do exactly what they did at MSI, not play-wise, guys, I'm talking specifically about RNG will make T1 get off those comfort picks and not give them at all. And even if they give the T1 team their comfort picks, we know RNG has something there that can counter them. Remember, Xiaohu's the one pulling out the Lissandra pick, right? Remember that was really tough for T1 to face off against, where they had to put Faker on that, and he really didn't have that big of an impact at MSI either. So it's one of these things where RNG, I think, is going to be the antithesis of T1. I think they're the perfect team to take out T1. Could T1 obviously beat RNG? Yes, there is a world that could happen, but I think RNG is just the better team right now, and I still think it's going to be the case with this matchup coming up. I think their playstyle is just even better than T1's holistically. Though I'm not saying T1's a bad team. I'm not. They did play very well so far, but I think RNG just edges them out, actually. All right. Or do I change my prediction to Rogue? Nope, I'm staying with JDG. Damwon versus Gen G. Damwon looked very, very, very good in the group stage. Like, very scary. Gen G took a little bit of time to ramp up, but they ended up looking very, very good themselves. This is actually a pretty even matchup across the board. Canyon versus Peanut. I think you definitely give that edge to Canyon. The bot lane, Ruler and Lehans versus Dekdom and Keelan, also very even. I probably slightly give the edge to Gen G's bot lane. You also have Naguri versus Doran. Like I said, it's pretty even between them, but I would probably have to give that edge to, Doran. I'll give the edge to Naguri early on, but Doran a bit later as the game moves up. You also have Canyon versus Chovy. Showmaker versus Chovy. What a crazy matchup right there. Showmaker and Chovy definitely having, a really, really good world championship so far. Chovy definitely looking pretty strong. Not in his top tier form that a lot of people predicted, but definitely a player that, in these best of fives, at least with Gen G, could probably definitely at least not even just go even with Showmaker. We're talking like completely gap in. But I think there's a world you can see where Showmaker also single-handedly gaps Chovy as well. Showmaker definitely has played very well this tournament as well. I'm gonna say Gen G get out. Actually, I think Gen G will be the better team as the series goes on. I do think this is gonna be a 3-2. Oh, sorry. So I should probably say my series predictions too. I'll go 3-1 JDG. I'm gonna go 3-1 for RNG. I'm gonna go 3-2 for Gen G against Damwon. And then we have the last matchup, DRX versus EDG. Is EDG and DRX going to be probably one? This is a weird matchup, guys, because first of all, both teams have shown, I don't know what to say. DRX are very, very standard LCK team. EDG are a very aggressive early game team. I think early on for a lot of these games, if EDG do not close out games if they get a lead, I think potentially DRX could also beat them. There's a world I could see where DRX beat EDG. The thing here is EDG good enough to expose DRX's problems? DRX have issues, but is EDG the team to do that? Because that's the name of the game with a lot of these teams. A lot of these teams are very, very good. But it all depends on who's going to be the team to expose these teams to their weaknesses. Then these weaknesses will be very apparent going into the top four matches. Next week, actually, I'm going to have EDG winning this. But I do see a world where DRX wins, actually, because you go by Flandre versus Kingen. I think that's pretty even, all things considered, right now. You have JJ versus Piosik, or the other guy that we're playing. I think it's about even, honestly. These are pretty even matchups, all things considered. You also have Zeka versus Scout. Zeka's had a really good tournament so far. He's definitely been popping out for his team. I think he can definitely go into Scout. Scout's no slouch either. I think Scout will definitely, be able to match up to Zeka as well. You also have the bot lane matchup, Deft and Barrel versus Viper and Mako. Another bot lane where Deft and Barrel have definitely been picking it up too. So these are very even matchups. This is pretty close. I would say this is 3-2 EG. This is probably going to be one of the two best of fives we actually get that go the full distance. I think these are going to be 3-1s between JDG versus Rogue. RNG versus T1 are going to be 3-1s. And I think these two are going to be the actual go the distance, because this is very even across the board. I know people are going to say EDG so much better. It depends on how you look at the matchup holistically. It really depends, because DRX could definitely match them in the early game. We've seen that. So, yeah, those are my pick'ems for the top 8. I hope I'm right. Am I going to be one of the guys picking Rogue? No, because I'm not actually a lunatic. But I do give credit to Rogue for playing good in week 1.
Okay.
Let's see. Do you have the same ones?
No, let's see. Okay, I'll say JD Gaming beats Top Esports. They beat them twice in summer, so we'll go with that.
Rogue.
Rogue. Top Esports. Anyway, and then
I'm gonna get you to admit it one day.
The next one, okay. This literally just depends on draft diff, because despite what this fanboy in the back there cleaning his room or texting on his phone says, yeah, RNG has similar issues, but that being said, I'd probably predict them to make it out, but the thing is they always draft like fucking shit when it matters. And if they do that against T1, then they're fucked. So, this series will literally just depend on who drafts better, unlike the others, where it will mainly just depend on who plays better this time around. So I'll say that if RNG doesn't draft like apes, they get out 3-2. If they do, then T1 will get out 3-2 or 3-1, and then JDG will get out 3-1 or 3-0, since Rogue Top Esports is pretty shit. Let's see. I'm gonna go with a I was thinking of going to a damn one upset, but I'm not. I'll go 3-2 Genji though, and then I'll go I'm gonna go with the longest of long shots and say DRX 3-0.
DRX 3-0. Why do you hate EDG so much?
Because EDG is a nothing team, does nothing special besides relying on Viper lately.
Actual God. All right, let me go to my phone really quickly. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get my friend to message me back. All right, so.
And I think they'll draft like shit, as they did in groups, and Zeka will take advantage.
Yeah. All right, so those are the quarterfinal predictions for you guys. I definitely think that at least I laid out, hopefully, I laid out my best possible explanations, because these teams are very strong. Like, despite all the issues that they may have, and they don't even have a lot of issues per se. I think people over exaggerate that. I think it's when you're facing off against players that are going to be able to match the players that you have, it's going to be basically those skill matchups that a lot of people have been talking about. All right, so that's pretty much it. I have to wait for my friend. He's on his way right now because we got to do another show, actually. So yeah, I'll just be talking to you guys before my friend comes. There's going to be a lot of news that's going to end up coming out from the channel. I've told you guys before that I want to make sure I get that done for you guys. I'm going to be doing it where I'm going to be talking about 3 news topics in a video like I do on my main YouTube channel. So you're going to be getting all of that news in a pretty decent amount of videos. At most, it'll be about I think 5-6 videos covering 3 topics. I think that's the best thing. Rather than giving you 5 different 6-minute videos, I could just do them all at once, essentially. But that is pretty much it. We have Yankos that is going to be on my chopping block. So we're going to group. We have one. So give me a second here because I have everything on my list. So I'm going to start the news cycle for you guys at the beginning of where I left off at. So we have 3 of them. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 2 videos right there. Then, so wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 2 videos. 7, 8, 9, 3, and we have 1 right here. So if more information comes out, which we know more information will be coming out, then you'll be getting potentially a 4th news video, actually. So yeah, but right now you're looking to be getting 3 news videos, all roughly about 10, 12 minutes, me going over all these off-season changes, beginning where I left off at. So, where I left off at talking about the news, that is where I'm going to be talking about. Because right now people are like, is LEC Wulo trusted? Yeah, I really don't see that guy getting wrong ever, honestly. I mean, people like LEC Wulo and Jacob Wolf, whenever they announce something, it's pretty much 99.99% true. Just saying. I see. My goodness. Okay. Another thing that I'll also bring up is the LCS is going to have some prior problems coming up. There's going to be some LCS orgs. They're going to tell you guys some bullshit. It's going to be orgs that are going to be yeah, we're going to build up NA talent and all this nonsense, guys. No, guys, they could have been doing that for so long. It's just they're slashing their budgets, as most people have been talking about, and they're not. I mean, people always say this, but we'll never know until it actually happens. About the whole importing thing, I think there will be less imports potentially coming into this offseason, but it just depends on how the teams look at it. I think the top 4 teams, being EG, Cloud9, Team Liquid, and 100 Thieves, I think it just depends on what they want to do. For 2023 League of Legends season. The LCS might be having, some other viewership hurdles to get over. Because I'll slightly touch on the whole viewership days moving. Personally, it would be better for me if the viewership days moved, actually, because it's really hard for me in my life to get off days to go and watch the LCS games. Even when we went as much as we did, when we went to go watch the LCS games, it was really hard getting those Saturday days off. It's one of these things where I would be kind of happy with it because it would literally be the best thing for me in going to the LCS again, at least consistently. Now, we know that Valorant is going to be a big thing that Riot is going to be promoting. So if Valorant is going to be bringing in more viewers, then it makes sense to have them at the best time slots being Saturday and Sunday. It just is. Now remember, dude, how we talked about people being hypocritical, right? Remember how people say that LCS viewership is tanking, right? Or it's stagnant, right? I don't think it's tanking. I think it's just stagnant, right? You know what the real core issue of this is? The LCS might be making some changes to potentially increase the viewership, right? But then people are going to go, because people, I find it crazy how they literally want the LCS to fix the viewership problems, and they're attempting to do that, and they're still getting criticized. So I don't know how you feel about that, actually. What about you? Don't you find that weird?
It's because Valorant and stuff would take away their views. I mean, and there would be less co-streaming, I guess. But I mean, well, it's just because people don't like change. They're always used to the weekend watching it.
Send this to Chaz. Send this to Chaz.
Send what to Chaz? That's like a rape face there. Okay.
Oh god, that's the best player in the NBA of all time, right there.
Jesus fuck. Anyway,
So that's my thing personally. Is like people want the LCS to fix the viewership problem. So yeah, you move it to different days and you see if you can get more viewers out of it.
People have been used to watching it on the weekend.
But it's not working anymore, though, dude. I agree with you.
But people don't like change.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And it makes them think that they're giving up on League of Legends because Valorant is more popular now and in North America. So makes them think like they're going to prioritize over that. So that's why they're giving them the weekend now. Makes them think that they're spitting League of Legends in the face.
Yeah, it's one of these things, guys, where if you're criticizing the LCS's viewership, they're attempting to fix it. I mean, what would you rather have them do? Sit there and do nothing or just try and do something? You have to do something. Someone said, well, bring on better broadcast talent. They have increased. Guys, they increased the broadcast is fine now. The broadcast is legitimately fine now. That's not the issue. It's just the fact that they did it way too late. That's the problem. They fixed their broadcast way too late. Someone says, hire different people. You could do that, but that still didn't change shit, so it doesn't really matter, actually. You know, they brought on Raz, they brought on Emily, very, very good, who have been doing a very, very good job, actually. You know, I just don't know, honestly. I think, you know, people want...
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's ridiculous.
Maybe they can bring in Frostgare and they'll fix it.
Don't speak to me. Oh, my God. It's one of these things where people want the LCS to fix their viewership and Riot to do it. And when they try to potentially do it, because this is right now just a rumor, then people are still getting angry. It's like, oh, I can't watch the games. It's like, don't watch the VODs. I find it so crazy how people don't want to watch the VODs. Just watch the VODs. Yeah, it doesn't have the same experience watching live. Yeah, sure. But it's like, you're still watching the games, right? If you love the LCS that much, you'll watch the games. Like, come on, let's be really honest here, guys. If you really love the LCS that much and you enjoy watching the LCS, and I enjoy watching the LCS despite its, you know, big issues that it has, you'll simply just find a way to watch the games. You'll make time for it. Like let's be honest with ourselves here. You will find time for it. You know? So, what else did you want to bring up about the LCS viewership? Do you think they're actually going to switch the days? I think that they are going to switch the days. That's what I personally, guys. Like, given the fact that the viewership numbers have been a really key hot pressed button for a lot of people to talk about, like claiming that the LCS is going to end up dying and stuff like that, you gotta factor in they're going to end up fixing something, you know?
I would be fine with the having it on weekdays, just
because what days were they thinking about putting it? Wednesday, Thursday, right? Or is it Tuesday, Wednesday?
One of those two, but I would be okay with, like, they did that before with Monday Night League, and I thought it was...
Remember they switched it because people were bitching and moaning about it on
I really do not understand why they're...
I like the Monday Night League thing. I legitimately enjoyed it.
What was the issue with it? I don't understand.
Dude, I swear, I only heard people on Hotline League complaining about it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you're a fan of Travis Gaffer, just like fucking... just reenact Paul Walker's death or something. I don't know.
This guy's going to go to hell. Oh, what's up, Chaz?
I don't care. But like I'm perfectly fine with it. If they just make sure the time's different, obviously. If they have it on the same like kind of time stuff like Monday Night League did, like, well, from around like maybe 3:30 to 4 up until like 9 p.m. or something, or 10 p.m. Like that would be. I'd be cool with that, like Monday Night League with the, you know, having it at later times, but I don't want the same early times like 11 a.m., 12 noon, 1 p.m. if they're going to have it on weekdays, but yeah.
Yeah, it's one of these things where, like, if they put League on Wednesday, Thursday, guys, you got to factor that changes a lot about what we do. That means the show won't be Wednesday. We'd have to do it like, I don't know what day we could do it then. Because we already have times. Yeah.
Okay, Chaz, I'd rather shoot myself than let fucking... Oh, my God.
Tyler won. Tyler won's possible. They did allow him to do some of their events. Double if no.
At All Stars.
No, he did the finals introduction. Remember?
Yeah, yes, I know, but Jesus Christ.
Like Doublelift is a crazy person.
Yeah. What year was that again? He did it.
He did it earlier this year, and he did it in 2019 too. But so that's the thing, guys. If the LCS switches the days, we'd also have to make some changes here because I would have to kind of reevaluate my schedule on, okay, when can I have the show then? Because if the games are Wednesday, Thursday, that means your show would have to be Saturday. We already have a show Saturday. And Sunday be probably the best time for it, you know? So I don't know, but we'll have to wait until that information becomes more apparent when we get into the off season. There's going to be a lot of change. The LCS is probably going to look a whole lot different coming into this year because these LCS teams are making some changes. Are they going to go in on NA talent actually? I don't. I think they will. I think they will. Will they actually do it? Most likely not. Let's be honest here. They're probably going to put in 1 or 2 NA players. The rest are probably going to be those minor region import players, because remember, there's a rumor also, all these rumors right now, guys, that Riot is potentially going to be unlocking that import rule that is holding down the minor region teams. They did that with Australia going into 2021. That's why Australian players are not considered imports. They might be doing that exact same thing for players that are in Japan, Turkey, all the other little minor regions right there. So if that happens, I could see a lot of LCS teams trying out players like that, but they want to build talent, which I don't really understand that actually myself. But yeah, for teams like Cloud9, I think making one change is fine, actually. Just taking out Zen, I think, is the best option for them. I mean, Blabber also has not looked very good this year either. I mean, I don't really know why they always hone in so much on Blabber, because people say they win most of their games with him. Yeah, they also lose a lot of games with him too. So gotta be factoring that in as well. For 100 Thieves, because I know Chaz likes 100 Thieves. I truly don't know even now, because I think someday might have to do the whole military service thing. So that I don't really know about.
Wait, who?
Because I know someone said they don't think Sunday's going to be on the roster for 2023.
Wait. I thought you said that players with NA residence are exempt.
Sorry, there's a dog outside. Dog's going a fucking crap.
I thought you said they're exempt from military service.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. But it depends. Because Papa Smithy brought up the fact that his vision for 100 Thieves wasn't aligned with what the org wanted to do. So are 100 Thieves going budget? Are they going to be keeping Someday? I think, I'm going to be honest here, I think they keep Someday, honestly. I don't think there's a world where he leaves. I think you just put different players around him that maybe enable him a lot more, because he always seems to be their best player. Now, people said, what about that 6-man roster? Well, they got that other player when he was underperforming. Someday picked it up massively.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was dumb not to at least give him a few games, but whatever.
Yeah, it's like he made the right decision in that moment, but Someday also really, really picked it up. Is just like, okay, Someday.
Dumb, but anyway,
for EG, what do you think they're gonna do? Are they gonna bring back Danny, or are they gonna choose Kaori?
They'll probably bring back Danny.
You think? I think there's a world where I think Danny's done, and I think they just keep Kaori, honestly.
I mean, it depends where his mindset is at, because Kaori had a lot of rough games. He did not play good. He just played good on certain champs, as I said, at Worlds. So he's great, but Danny is as good, if not better, and we haven't seen him really. I mean, both of them have issues, but I mean, Danny's younger, so you could still fix some, like his lane and stuff. You could still work it out. Kaori's kind of just, I don't know. It just depends what play style you want more and which one you think works better with Vulcan. But I mean, I think they'll keep Danny. Just I think they'll have maybe like a bit of a tryout as well, but I don't know. But I think they'll keep Danny.
I think there's a world where, because you got to factor in, they've been through a lot with Kaori recently, because that guy just stepped into like LCS finals weekend playing for them. You know, Danny had to go on his little mental health break, and then they played play-ins with Kaori, scrims, group stages. Essentially, Kaori played a full LCS season, maybe even more games, you know, when he first started, because they went the full 5 games against 100 Thieves. They played, like 4 games in the play-in stage, the 3 against Mad Lions, then the 5 games, in group stage. It's like, this guy's pretty much played a full LCS season with the team already. So it just depends on what they want to do. Do they think Danny is mentally able to come back and play at a high level? Albeit he needs to really fix his laning phase. It is a very, very big issue. Now, I think they did still lose faith in him during the season, but it just depends. Did he fix those issues? Was he even playing League in this time frame? Things people got to factor in. Was he even practicing League? Where you have a fresh guy right here who you've been playing with for a little bit of time, and you spent a lot of time with him. Impact contract is up. We'll have to see where Impact goes. Impact costs a lot of money, but Impact to play in LCS, which we know he does, he'll most likely get paid a little bit less money if the teams are slashing their budgets. These are like ifs. I think Inspired's contract is up, but they should try to really keep Inspired. He really played well for them. He was one of the main reasons why they were winning this year. He's a big reason why. If they lose Inspired, I won't be so hyped on EG going into the season. I'm being honest here, guys. He was a really big deciding factor for them. Like, they most likely don't even get that win against G2 without Inspired to a certain extent. Vulcan, I think Vulcan just signed with them, I think, this year, right? I think Vulcan will be there. Honestly, I think they'll keep him. It really just depends. Jojo Pion. They're keeping Jojo Pion. I think he's going to stay with them for a little bit of time. I think he's their franchise player. Yeah, K4, I was thinking the same thing. Bjergsen to 100 Thieves, because there's it was also, leaked that Bjergsen is going to be leaving potentially Team Liquid. So where would Bjergsen go? I think Bjergsen's just a fucking hack. So, that's just me personally. But apparently I'm wrong if I call Bjergsen a hack.
Well, hold on, Bjergsen. What did you say? Sorry.
I said Bjergsen's a hack.
No, before that.
Oh, I said there is the rumor that LEC Wulu put out that Bjergsen could be leaving Team Liquid, but he's fielding offers from LCS and LEC teams, actually.
No, because I was saying that he's LEC teams want him right now.
It's crazy how Warren's been
XL.
supporting SK Gaming. It's rumored that SK Gaming are trying to put together a super team, that they're actually probably going to spend some money.
It could go to SK or XL. Those would be the best options, unironically, sadly, but because he is a hack. But anyway, but yeah, so then it was rumored that, as I said, Wulu, that was the tweet. I said it, that was the EU player star, quote unquote, thinking of going back to LEC, and especially if he gets replaced on Team Liquid by a Korean,
he gets replaced by Harry.
by a Korean, it's rumored a Korean import, and then they said that if that Korean import goes to Team Liquid, then another one would, and then the rest of the players would be made up with like prospects from their academy team, like their bot lane, with maybe keeping Santorin, I guess, and those imports were rumored, I think, the Shy, and then that they would try to make an offer for some old Korean player like Faker or something to like be a mentor.
If they get the Shy, I'm saying right now, guys, the Shy had some issues in the LPL, but don't get it twisted. In the LCS, he would be like the MVP. I guarantee he would beat the shit out of most people he would face. It wouldn't even be close.
Well, because a lot of NA talks would just not pick apart his him getting too aggressive and stuff, so he would just like destroy them on like when.
And people to factor in, Bjergsen has always talked about how much he misses home a lot. So Bjergsen having a chance to go back to the LEC.
Remember that video they did? They took the 3 Danish players like him to like a fucking Danish bakery.
So there's a world where if there's a chance right now for Bjergsen to go back home, play where his family's at, he doesn't have to travel so much, play for a team that's in the LEC, and have a much better chance, just a tiny bit, at doing well internationally. Tiny bit, to get a little smidgen. But Bjergsen is such a fucking hack that I don't think it's possible. But yeah, guys, I'll be dropping some content for you guys. Channel update video. 3 news videos are coming. talking about all this off-season rumors and stuff like that. I can't wait for the World Championship to kick off back again later on today. If you guys are watching this video, if you guys are watching this stream, make sure you like it, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I'll make sure I'll be seeing you guys later. Goodbye. See you guys later.